What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. There are 10 minutes left until the Giggle airs. Well, technically more like 8 now, but you know what I mean. I am very excited. I almost forgot to record my pre-reaction thoughts, so let me get them out here fast so we can cut ahead to my post-episode analysis, because whew, this looks to be a big one. It's over an hour long, just barely over, and I hope it uses its runtime effectively. The Star Beast was definitely way too short and overstuffed, so I hope with almost 7 minutes extra they can make it count. Hopefully it will be better than the Star Beast. That's where my expectations are at in terms of quality, to be honest. But in terms of everything else, oh boy, I have high hopes. Rusty Davies has been hyping this shit up, so it better live up to the expectations. I don't know if any of you guys have been paying attention to this, but so far brother has been wrong about literally everything. So it makes you wonder if he's just lying. But I hope not. I will always give him the benefit of the doubt, as I will with this episode too. There are big changes coming, allegedly, and I imagine this episode may end up being controversial. So I suppose there's that to look forward to. I made a video yesterday on the toy maker who will be appearing in this episode. I'm very looking forward to that. So if you guys want to check that out after you're done watching this, thank you very much. And I think that's about it. Subscribe to the channel or something. Let's watch the episode. Okay, I just watched Doctor Who The Giggle, and I have a lot of thoughts, as I assume a lot of people will after watching that episode. It was actually more controversial than I ever thought it would be. First of all, let me just say it, I haven't called it. Maybe he's regenerating into himself again. Maybe he's regenerating into two people. I called it, guys. I did. They definitely did not do it how I thought they would. I thought that the TARDIS was going to be split. At the end of the episode, there were two TARDISes, but I thought that somehow the toy maker would split the TARDIS into two, and then one of Doctor Who's would die and regenerate, and then one of them would survive at the end, and that's how they'd do it. But no, they went a bit more of a cartoonish route. Let me just say, before we dive into discussion in the episode, I recorded my full reaction to the episode, don't worry, I did, and the live commentary should be going up to members probably tomorrow, but hopefully just in a couple hours. I'm recording my thoughts right as the episode is finished, and I want to get this video out as quickly as possible because, oh my god, I'm holding back. I'm really holding back, guys. You guys can tell I'm holding back. Should I just skip ahead to the ending and talk about everything that we're all talking about, or should I start at the beginning? I'm gonna skip ahead to the ending. I think I said in my reaction, I can't imagine a worse ending to the Doctor. I hate endings to the Doctor in general, but I don't like the idea of him sitting down in regular contemporary Earth and then keeping up family life with the Noble family. If there was gonna be a family that I'd want Doctor Who to spend it with, I'd want it to be with Susan in the future, and even then that would be dumb as hell, because the idea of the Doctor settling down, that's almost character assassination levels. I'm gonna be real here, it's not good. They had a line where Donna was speaking to the Doctor and it's like, oh, you've had so many adventures, why didn't you have this one? As if the point of Doctor Who as a television show is that we all have boring ass mundane lives and we want to get away. As if that isn't the whole point of the show. The point of Doctor Who is to escape, is to not be in a monotonous chronological line day in, day out. And I understand, oh, the Doctor, he goes on adventures every now and then. I don't fucking care. That guy, I don't count him as Doctor Who. This guy ain't Doctor Who. Ncuti Gatwa is Doctor Who. This 14th Doctor, I don't know who the hell he is. Mr. Oh, I must settle down. Fuck off. I thought Ncuti Gatwa's performance was electric. I really enjoyed it the whole time. But I mentioned that he didn't really feel like the Doctor until a little bit towards the end. They had that scene where he goes over to David Tennant's Doctor and like he's speaking to him, and it doesn't feel like the Doctor speaking to the Doctor. It doesn't feel like a multi-Doctor story. It feels like just a companion talking to, it feels like a dude talking to the Doctor. It felt like the 14th Doctor was the main character and the 15th Doctor had no moment whatsoever to himself. Why? I have no clue. The third act of this episode is incredibly messy, even if I may enjoy the Bull scene, even if it is incredibly underwhelming, a bit strange. I don't really see how it ties into everything they were setting up. And they even had the ghoul to set up another ominous force spearheading the Toymaker. Now that I'm fine with, because I always love, you know, teasing future stuff. I'll be there day one. But it felt like the Toymaker got defeated really easily for someone who has dominion over space and time. Couldn't you have thought of, you know, a more clever way to beat him instead of he dropped the ball, literally? And I think it's a real shame, because I think the first 2 acts of this episode are incredible. I think they're really good. I was expecting an episode like The Star Beast. It really wasn't. It was so much better. Talking about the first 2 acts here. It went along at an incredible pace. We had an idea of the stakes of the scale. You had some great social commentary, and then you rounded it all in incredible performances, even from Kate Stewart. Kate Stewart, who I have famously called a hack fraud, because let's be real here, 10 years in, she finally has an appearance in this episode, which I actually like. Yeah, I mentioned it in my reaction, but this is the first episode where I think Kate Stewart is an actual character. You have a scene which showcases her insecurities as a character when she takes off the V-Dex, Shmi-Shrex. I'm gonna need to rewatch the episode to remember all of the names of the new stuff they added in. Keep in mind, this is literally minute 1 after episode ended. And I thought that did a great deal to add depth to her character, to actually make her a character. So boom, massive thumbs up there. Man, I really want to talk about that ending. And I know everyone in the comment section is gonna. So should I? No, I committed. I'm going in chronological order. We then see Shirley yet again. She had a thing with Donna. Did those two even share a single line of dialogue in The Star Beast? I know they shared a look at the end of the episode. Is that enough? I suppose so. And then we see the return of Melanie Bush. Now, I have been recently rewatching actually quite a few season 24 stories. Just recently I watched Paradise Towers, and just before that I watched Time in the Rani. And I like Bonnie Langford. I think Mel is fun. Is she possibly the weakest character in the classic series? Yeah, but I still really like her. She had the unlucky misfortune of being in season 23 and 24, which, although I'm actually starting to appreciate a little bit more, not that I haven't in the past, I've always harbored a special enjoyment for Trial of a Time Lord. Those 2 seasons don't really have any stories I would consider stand out. So while it's great to have her here, it's not something I was screaming and shouting about, especially because they already spoiled it. What the hell, guys? She's in series 15 as well. Maybe that unit spin-off rumor is true. I don't think I would give a single solitary shit, but I'd watch it anyway. I thought the opening scene in 1926, I think it was, Soho, very atmospheric. I really enjoyed it. I really liked every element of the Toymaker's plan. I like how we weren't treated like idiots who needed to be led along. I pretty much clocked the whole Toymaker's plan by the time the credits rolled, and it didn't take long for the characters to catch up, which I very much appreciated, because it allowed us to go right into the second act when the Doctor goes back in time in the TARDIS, where they enter the Toymaker's realm. They have some funny set pieces, some spooky moments, and then you have the confrontation between the Doctor and the Toymaker, and it's really good. I particularly like the cutting of the strings off the marionettes that represent all of the people the Doctor has lost. Rory wasn't mentioned though, that's a bit of a shame. But for the first time during the specials, I actually thought, oh yeah, it's the 60th anniversary, we're celebrating Doctor Who. And I got that towards the end as well, but we'll get there when we get there. I think the scene when we first go into Unit Skyscraper, we figure out what the Giggle is, we have the arpeggio, it's quite haunting, a little chilling. I was a massive fan of that. Showing all the people who are going mad, you know, the politicians, the anti-vaxxers. That was great stuff, but I think that actually leads us to the social commentary aspect of it, in which I unironically think that Rusty Davies pulled it off really well. And if you've been looking over the past few weeks, one may not have thought that he would, and I did always have faith, but there was a slight part of me that was saying, oh, he's gonna mess it up, oh, he's gonna mess it up, but he didn't. He did not fumble on this aspect of it. The social commentary, in my opinion, was even-handed and cheeky. Rusty Davies in the past has always said he likes deconstructing ideologies in short, quippy lines. That's kind of what I felt about Donna saying, so nothing's changed then, to the politician saying, I don't care about you. The anti-vaxxers, of course, poking fun at those on the right. And then the line of cancelling, etc., which the Toymaker says is, of course, making fun of people on the left, and the battleground of social media, which is the state of the 21st century, all quite accurately pointed out. In my opinion, I didn't really feel an overbearing, left-leaning stance. In fact, it was probably just how I would have done it. Because if you pay any attention, you notice that everyone, regardless of political creed, has been saying, world's gone mad, everyone's gone mad, for quite a while now. So I think not making it hardcore political while still taking jabs and jives, I think that's the perfect way to handle it. And I think the spooky element, you know, of it being hidden in all the screens, I can imagine there'll be a little kid out there who's scared sugarless by that. And so yeah, massive thumbs up from me for the first 2 acts. Truly, I thought it was all going incredible. I honestly was actually enjoying it more than Wild Blue Yonder. And then we got up to the scene where the toy maker arrives in 2023 and he brings a song with him, and I thought it was the best scene of the episode. That shit was fire, man. You can tell Rusty Davies loves writing the villain, man. You could tell he was having a ball with that, and I was having a ball watching it because it was so batshit and insane, and I loved it. Kind of reminded me of Bill Cipher type villain, one who has all power, he can do whatever he wants, he's just making a mockery of all these people, he's doing a dance number. These types of scenes are really fun to imagine, and then of course he wrote it, and then of course he brought it to life, so I imagine that for Rusty Davies, that too would be a joy to see, and I can imagine that he would probably be very proud. To me, it was all downhill from there. You had him prancing around to this song, which in my opinion wasn't annoying. I know musical tastes differ, some people might have found it really annoying. It's like the sound of drums, here come the drums, here come the drums song. Some people really like it, some people don't. I personally really enjoyed it, but I also loved him playing around, you know, turning the guards into balls, and then you see them screaming in the balls. It's horrible. All of the guns turning into confetti, and everything is perfect. Everything is brilliant. I'm like, this is an incredible episode of Doctor Who. I'm thinking 8 out of 10. This is amazing. And then he disappears and appears on the laser, and I think it's at this moment that the episode turns from something that's believable into something that really needed a little bit more time and thought put into it. Because I'm not necessarily against the idea of a bi-generation, which, spoiler alert, we're talking about that now, but just this whole segment, this whole third act, he kind of rid himself into a corner and didn't really know how to get out. It's so messy. The green screen around them, while it did look worse in the trailer, was still quite noticeable, which is a shame because the effects throughout the rest of the episode were stunning, mostly because they were hidden in shadow, which is what they should have done with Wild Blue Yonder, to be honest. And there were still quite a few little lines that I really liked, even in this third act, but it just all fell apart, man. It all fell apart. It's such a shame. He built up this incredible castle of an episode, but then the tide came in and washed it all away. The laser, which could previously shoot all the way from London to the satellite, now apparently can be turned down to such a level that it can barely scorch the floor, and he uses it to shoot people's toes. What? Why does he need to do that? Isn't he all powerful? And then he shoots the Doctor through the chest. There's no hole in the chest for some reason, and then the Doctor is regenerating, and then he stops, which I expected. I was not for a single second did I think the Doctor was actually going to regenerate there, but then he stops. What I thought was going to happen, I don't know what I thought was going to happen. As I said, I think he wrote himself into a corner, and then he pulls himself apart somehow. Did I miss the explanation? How can he do that? Why didn't he do that all the other times? Can he just do that now? Can he do that from here on out? Can we get to 3 Doctors, then maybe 7 Doctors? That would be pretty cool. And their explanation, if I recall, was it doesn't make sense. It's impossible. It shouldn't be able to happen. Then how the fuck did it happen? And poor Ncuti Gatwa, man. It's not fair for, you know, a Doctor's first scene to be with the previous Doctor. It makes it harder for me to see him as the Doctor when the Doctor's right there. And I don't say that in a way where I dislike Ncuti Gatwa or I dislike Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, because I do like him and I think he's cool and he's got a great energy and I thought he was funny. I really did. I was a massive fan of all of it, as I knew I would be, because ever since the casting announcement I knew I'd like it. But in my head it just doesn't fit. And this takes us back to the scene where after the Celestial Toymaker is vanquished, should I say, the 15th Doctor comes up to the 14th Doctor, and it doesn't feel like the 15th Doctor coming up to the 14th Doctor. It feels like some dude comes up to the 14th Doctor. And I mean, that's just how it's gonna be when you have a new actor in a role talking to someone who's been in the role for like 18 years. Yeah, it's gonna be harder for him. And that isn't anything on Ncuti Gatwa's skill as an actor. It isn't, trust me. And the way they defeat him is by playing ball Why? Because they set that up at the beginning? The hell does ball got to do with anything? And the rules are whoever drops it loses. I mean, you could easily cheese this game if you're Doctor Who and there's two of you. You guys could just be passing it back and forth. Like, why do you even need to throw it? You could just be slightly lobbing it. Where are the stakes? Like, how does the game work? I know these may all seem like little things, but when they pile up, they just create like a mountain of problems that don't really make sense. There's so many easy ways they could defeat the Toymaker with that game, and the way they do is by throwing the ball really hard or something like that. Like, what? Oh, and also the Toymaker trapped the Master in a tooth for some reason. And not just that, the tooth falls out at the end and a mysterious finger picks it up. Just like in the last of the Time Lords that tied into the end of time, and we heard all of them laughing. My problem with the scene is that the person who bent down and picked it up, from the direction that their hand was going, they shouldn't have been standing on anything, right? Am I crazy? It was at the very edge, and from the direction their hand came from, they would have been probably in front of the tooth. So where were they sitting to pick it up? Am I crazy? Does no one notice this person who's right by the edge picking something up? Are they trying to be discreet? They were like 2 steps away from Doctor Who. It's really hard for me to even give out my thoughts on the bi-generation because it reminds me of what happened at the end of the Star Beast, where the Metacrisis just split between 2 people. Except I feel like this makes even less sense than that. Do they tie in? Is the 15th Doctor Doctor Who's son? And the ending wasn't bad in the way where I'm like, oh, that was so bad. It was just bad in the way where I'm completely baffled. I'm speechless. I don't really know what to talk about. There's too many things to talk about. The TARDIS hit with a hammer made it split in 2. Somehow, oh, part of the Toymaker's realm is still alive. Who came up with these excuses? I understand plot contrivance to take us into this new age of Doctor Who, but couldn't you have thought of something better? What's going on? What's happening? Someone tell me in the comment section below. I imagine there's going to be news articles and press statements explaining everything, but this is me just coming out of the episode, asking the question, what the fuck was that? I think probably either tomorrow or the day after I'll release a video going over it, not raw thoughts, actually scripted, because, I mean, what am I meant to talk about? What am I meant to talk about there, guys? Someone fill me in. Poor Ncuti Gatwa. This is his first episode as the Doctor. He had no scene without David Tennant in it. What? I feel bad. I feel bad for the actor. I feel bad for the character, and I feel bad for me for being invested in how that character will be introduced. Donna was a bit hit or miss in the episode, especially towards the ending. Just got a bit weird. And I suppose we finally have to talk about it. The ending where Donna's like to the Doctor, oh, you need to settle down. What the fuck? To Doctor Who? I mean, people complain about the Timeless Child all day, every day. Oh, character assassination, character assassination. Doctor Who settles down on Earth in the modern day. Not only is that just so against the character of the Doctor, but it is also the antithesis to the show itself. And now I'm glad that we're going off with the 15th Doctor with Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who. But like, imagine we weren't. Imagine that was the show from now on. Adventures of 14th Doctor and his home life. We could have an episode called Revenge of the Taxes, Attack of the Zebra Crossing. It's so boring, and I just can't imagine any version of any Doctor ever do that. The 3rd Doctor was forced to stay on Earth as a punishment. He hated it. And they reference Spearhead from Space in it too. He talks about the people who speak with their eyebrows. It's clearly meant to mirror Spearhead from Space. The Doctor finding a home, the Doctor chilling on Earth, but they're just not the same. The 3rd Doctor despised having to be forced on Earth, and it was only after multiple series, after getting acquainted with these characters that we, the audience, really cares about, that, you know, he actually begins to call it his home in Planet of the Spiders. And then he regenerates into Tom Baker and he instantly runs away because he doesn't want to stay on Earth. You kidding me? I hate it. I hate it. I really don't like it. I think it's really bad. And I don't really know where they can go with Ncuti Gatwa from here. Where can they go with the 15th Doctor? Is he going to be a different character? Do they share the same memories? The Doctor says, oh, you're older than me. But no, he's not. They're exactly the same age. If they're both the Doctor, do they share memories between each other like as they're happening? Are they split screened like in The Vanquishers? Why is any of this even happening? Guys, I'm losing my mind. This recording is 30 minutes long and I'm gonna have to cut it down as best I can. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and I can't wait to read up on all the articles and all the stuff that I missed. But those are my first impressions. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If you comment below, I'm of course doing another community reaction video. Those videos are really fun to do. You guys seem to really enjoy them as well. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this stuff, man. I'm thinking first impressions, because the first half was so strong. 5, 6 out of 10? I think it has the potential to go higher. Just an incredible strong start to the episode, but some strange creative decisions, let's just say. And with all that said, thank you so much to all my members. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you in the next one. What the fuck, man? What? His first line is no way. Come on, man. I fucking called it, man. I knew it would be a split regeneration. It's the new Doctor Who. His moment is entirely stolen from him, I must confess. It is a little disorientating. It doesn't feel like the first scene with the Doctor, am I right? It just feels like just another scene of Doctor Who. He lost the game of Ball, and it's that easy to beat the toy maker. Mavic Chen! Hell yeah, Dalek's master plan reference, let's fucking go! Hey, do you get it? It's the 60th anniversary, guys. Reference fest, man. Please don't say that happens to this Doctor. Please don't say that happens to this Doctor, man. Please don't say that happens to this Doctor. Please don't say that happens to this Doctor. Yeah, he doesn't have it because we have it, bro. It's boring. Please say that doesn't happen, man. No, please say that the Doctor doesn't get... No way, man. Please, I'm begging. This is like really daring. I'm not gonna lie. Like from Rusty Aves, this is incredibly daring. This is potentially... dangerous. It's a potentially dangerous decision. It's his new theme, the 15th Doctor's theme. We heard this before. It's... okay. That's not how that works. They're exactly the same age. I've never been so happy in my life. I don't think I can think of a worst ending for Doctor Who. Now I know what for. This. Fuck it, man.